I'm Corbitt with DVAuction, here with your feeder flash for Wednesday, June the 3rd, brought to you in part by Performance Livestock Analytics. This is software developed by cattlemen for cattlemen. It helps you make more professional invoices, break-evens, and closeouts as easy to use as your cell phone, guys. For more information, go to performancelivestockanalytics.com. Cash feeders continue to fade. Most sales that we've had so far this week have been in the southern plains, and that's where the market is the toughest down there, without help with the competition from your northern farmer feeders that are pretty aggressive for feeder cattle right now. But down in the southern plains, mostly dominated by your corporates, they're wanting to buy these feeder cattle cheaper. And also your offerings are a higher percentage of fall-born calves, not so much those hard yearlings that we've been selling, those hard-wintered yearlings and in a better condition and more attractive to your buyers. So they're not as attractive to them, and they're not garnering the big prices that we've been seeing over the last couple of months. But the market is just tougher around. Guys are wanting to buy cattle cheaper. A lot of talk already this week about the New World screwworm, and we haven't heard a lot about that in the last several weeks, but we were talking about it this week, and Secretary Rawlins was down there talking about it. We've had more confirmed cases just south of the border, right in northern Mexico, guys, and I tell you what, it's getting really close. I mean, we're seeing it just right on the other side of the border, and you can imagine, I'm sure we have it on this side of the border, and there's even rumored cases of a goat north of the border, not very far from the Mexican border, but in Texas, having a confirmed case. We're likely to hear about that later this week. And what's that gonna do to your market? What's that gonna do to your futures market? In one way, we might see that it might boost your futures market a little bit, because there's not any likely that they're gonna open the border anytime soon. But on the other hand, if we see any media about the screwworm in cattle, it's always negative. Anytime you talk about any health or safety or anything about your cattle market, about your cattle supply, it's going to be a downer for the market. So we're not real sure what's going to happen with the market this week as we go forward and keep talking about the screwworm, but likely it's here, guys. I mean, we got wildlife coming across the border. We got all kinds of animals coming across the border, which could have had it, may have had it. We're going to be able to handle it better on this side of the border than they've been handling it south of the border. So it's just going to be a crapshoot to see what happens here with all the media and all the futures market and all the rumors and everything that's going on. But pay attention to that, guys, going forward. I want to tell you about Lamona Livestock Auction in Lamona, Iowa. This Thursday, they're going to have a big feeder special, guys. They've got M.L. McCrae, my old neighbor there in northwest Missouri. He's got 800 head of black steers, or backgrounded steers, but all the goods left into them. They're weighing from 9.5 to 11.25, and they will be the good ones. M.L.'s been buying them himself here lately, and he is very particular about the calves that he buys and backgrounds there. We got the Nordell's heifers coming in, 150 head of them, weighing from 6 to 775. They'll be long weaned yearling type heifers ready to go. And then the Owens cattle, they've got 95 steers weighing from 8 to 8.5. That's Thursday at Lamona Livestock and DVAuction.com. How about your futures market for Tuesday? June live cattle futures were down 132 at 247.67. August was down 95 cents at 239.65. Then your back months on live cattle all down from 145 to 180. Kind of a back and forth. Monday your board was up, Tuesday it was down. August feeder cattle on Tuesday down 312 at 348.42. September was down 355 at 345.12. Then your back months on feeder cattle down 220 to down 355. Look at your grains. Corn for July down 4 cents a bushel at 440. July beans down 16.5 cents at 11.64.5. And hard red winter wheat for July down 11.5 cents a bushel at 635.5. Your fat cattle trade, which we really haven't seen anything develop so far this week, but we did see a little bit of trade out of Texas, and Texas is never the first one to start trading cattle, but they have been so far this week. Nothing out of your northern plains or Kansas, but Texas sold 100 head. They've sold 350 so far this week, but your live sales in Texas on Tuesday were at 255. That would be $2 lower than the bulk of the trade last week. There was some rumors of more 255 trading after the 2 o'clock deadline, so we'll see how much of that it was. I don't think it was widespread, but there was some more 255 that traded on a direct basis, negotiated cash on Tuesday. How about your market finder? Stockman's Livestock Market in Yankton, South Dakota. Best fat cattle auction we have in this country, guys. 900 head overnight. 1,850 for the total fed cattle auction, and no cows this week. They did have a cow sale on Monday, so it was not like last week. But your fed cattle sold from $1 lower to $2.50 higher, so it was kind of uneven there. Conventional fed cattle selling from $2.53 to $2.60. They had 1,228 pound calves, black calves. They were probably calves or calfy type fed cattle there. They were going back to feed, have had some feed and going back to feed at 282. So that guy was pretty optimistic there. There were 32 head of beef on dairy steers, weighed 1945 and bring 243 in Yankton. Program fat cattle selling from 254.5 to 267.5. And that was $2.50 higher on the program cattle, guys. But a lot of those cattle went from 12.5 to 14.75 that were non-implanted or drug-free, going back to feed. Going to put some more finish on them. Look at your box beef cutout values. They were higher on Tuesday. Choice cuts were up 124 at 394.07. Selects up 172 at 384.81. Look at your slaughter just through the first 2 days of this week, guys. Estimated cattle slaughter is 214,000. Can't compare it to last week because of the Monday holiday, but compared to the same week a year ago, it was 20,000 less already just 2 days through the week. And the same week a year ago up to Tuesday was 234. Check out what else is going on. Your punchy pick of the month, guys. We enjoyed doing that. We hope you guys have enjoyed it. Just a few days ago in the punchy pick from last month, we had some of the coolest pictures and most beautiful photos that I've ever seen on the punchy pick coming in. I hope you guys enjoyed them. We can't do punchy pick of the month without our sponsors. The Kids Corral is sponsored by Great Plains Livestock Consulting. They do a good job, guys. Get in touch with them. They sponsor a $200 gift certificate to Cavender's Boot City every month for the Kids Corral. And then the punchy pick of the month, of course, sponsored by Beaver County Stockyards in Beaver, Oklahoma, with all the cool swag they've got. And then Fair Piece, that revolutionary product that is scientifically proven, guys. You got to get in on that if you're not in on it already, guys. Fair Piece is the way to go. Check out this video I'm going to attach to the end of this Feeder Flash episode. Talk about your feeder cattle market, brought to you by Specialty Risk Insurance. Guys, on top of all kinds of insurance on and off the farm, they are your go-to LRP outfit and PRF outfit too. Call them, get a hold of them, go to specialtyrisk.com, get their phone number, call them and talk to them. They can visit with you about what you got to do to get an LRP, what your comfort levels are on a safety net for your cattle you got turned out, and even your unborn calves if you want to do that. They can help you guys. Get a hold of them at specialtyrisk.com. Your real-time index from DVAuction late in the day on Tuesday after all your sales had concluded, sitting at 367.13. Down quite a bit, guys, but down 118 from your late business on Monday there, but it's been down for the last several sessions there. Your latest CME cash feeder cattle index sitting all the way down at 364.26 after those cheap directs went in over the weekend, and then your hard down Monday sales. Look at your Joplin regional stockyards here on Thursday. The special cow sale they're going to have Thursday afternoon at 4:30. They're going to have over 1,500 head and got a lot of premier consignments, guys. got a complete dispersal out of Arkansas there, and those are really, really nice cattle there, guys. Hereford Red Angus cattle with Akiishi bulls. They've also got 200 head of really fancy replacement heifers, guys, and they're ready to go. Then have a lot more consignments of replacement cattle there on Thursday afternoon starting at 4:30, Joplin Regional Stockyards on DVAuction.com. Check out your big sales on Tuesday. Of course, Beaver County Stockyards in Beaver, Oklahoma had 4,950 head. Good sale for them, guys. The feeder steers were $5 to $10 lower. They've been sharply lower this week. Feeder heifers steady to $4 lower in a much lighter test. The calves were $5 to $10 higher on better quality calves than they had last week, so they got a good run of calves and they sold really well. Beaver was your Superior Steel Sales, home of Superior Standard Livestock Equipment. Stick out sale of the day. You check out this automated market report through Cattle Market Central and you see your best tested weights and your weighted averages on the 100-pound weight breaks. Check them out, guys. 165 head of 4-weight steer calves. They average 464 at 496.88. 196 head of the 5-weight steers average 551 at 462.51. 167 6-weight steers average 659 at 411.27. 480 head of 7-weight steers average 763 at 367.98. There were 688 head of 8-weight feeder steers in Beaver, Oklahoma. They averaged 855 at 347.96. 674 head of the 9-weight feeder steers in Beaver averaged 939 at 331.20. And 550 head of the heavy 10-weight steers averaged 1076 with a weighted average price of 319.28. Another 98 head of 1,105-pound feeder steers brought 314. How about the heifers? 205 head of the 4-weight heifer calves averaged 447 at 455.98. 150 head of the 5-weight heifers averaged 540 at 415.83. There were 498 head of the 6-weight heifers. They averaged 674 at 356.26. 420 head of the 7-weight heifers averaged 769 at 330.13. And 401 head of the 8-weight feeder heifers in Beaver County Stockyards in Beaver, Oklahoma averaged 844 at 318.29 on the weighted average. Got several individual quotes I'm going to give you from all around. How about Unionville Livestock Market in Unionville, Missouri? That's north central Missouri, guys. Had the Rockin' R cattle in there on Tuesday. We always talk about them. They had 4 loads of them. The average on the loads was $883, and the average price on the loads was $362.50. Big time quotes out of Unionville, Missouri, guys. How about Fallon Livestock in Fallon, Nevada, guys? They sold 121 head of 449-pound beef on dairy steer calves. They bring 559. How about Scotland County Livestock in Memphis, Missouri, guys? I told you on the last visit, this was the first day that they were broadcasted on DV Auction. They'll be broadcasted regularly going forward here. But they had a big sale on Tuesday, including 65 head of 835-pound steers in Memphis, Missouri, bring 379. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Tuesday, your Macrocin, no BS, top quote for the day, come out of Huron Continental Marketing in Huron, South Dakota. It was 77 steers, weighed 805, and bring 385. And that's your feeder flash for Wednesday.
Stress in your beef herd, dairy, or swine leads to weight loss, disease, and mortality, costing you peace of mind and profit. Stressful events such as transport, weaning, calving, and handling activate survival instincts in cattle, often leading to reduced dry matter intake, suppressed immunity, and increased risk of disease and mortality. FERA offers FeraPeas, a proven solution with over 20 million doses sold. FeraPeas, a synthetic analog of the maternal appeasing substance, naturally calms animals, helping to restore normal feeding behavior, promote hydration, and support immune function, ultimately improving health and performance. Trusted by producers and validated through multiple independent university trials, Therapes has been shown to reduce disease incidence and mortality, ensuring greater animal welfare and improved profitability for cattle and swine operations. Therapes address the stress, backed by science.